enough of that. Welcome back, y'all. I missed y'all yesterday. I had a lot of running around and stuff to do, doctor's appointments and all that. So I couldn't squeeze it in yesterday. But I'm back today. This is week number 3. We up in here. Okay. So hopefully everybody's week is going good so far. I can't believe it's Thursday. 92 was just in here reminding me the spring break is almost over. Of course, it wasn't a break for me. Well, I guess sort of. I didn't have to ask her, what you got for homework? How was your day at school? None of that stuff. So it was sort of a break for me. I'll say that much. But yeah, I'm back up in it this morning. Where's my stuff? Since there's nobody in here, I will remind myself, Melissa, did you do your 5 pumps of your Xanthomis today? Well, I know I haven't yet. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so here we go. Now remember, this is for my cardiovascular health. It's a CTFO product. It helps with cardiovascular, inflammation, all the things of that nature. So it's 5 sprays a day. Mm, 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 mm. All right. Here's my phone. I'm on my way to some better heart health. We're going to get rid of some of these pills. And today, I'm going to do show and tell. You know, I've been telling y'all about the CTFO. The CTFO. Ooh, I didn't close the top. Good thing is not something that can leak out. It's a roll-on, so it didn't leak out. But this is CTFO muscle and joint pain relief. And it's got 500 milligrams of hemp oil. Now this stuff, it looks little. I know you think it ain't gonna do much, but it's some power behind this little tube. So sorry, yeah. Just needed to look at something on my computer real quick. Diddle. So yeah, look at 500 milligrams of hemp oil. That's guaranteed to make you be well, I ain't gonna say make you be able to move your knees, but it's guaranteed it'll help. So just to show y'all, because I've been using this now for, I think I've been using this for about 3 weeks. It should be, I'm trying to think that I have it when I did my first live. It's 2 weeks. Let's just say 2 weeks. So I rub this on my knees because I got some tree trunk legs. I rub it on my heels because I tend to have pain back there, especially when I work out. And then if I have worked out, I just rub it wherever it hurts. So today, just to show you, now keep in mind, if you hear bones cracking and you think somebody popping off fireworks, that's just regular me. If I inhale, I crack a bone. I must crack a rib or something. But I'm old, so you might hear some popping and stuff going on. But I am going to show you guys how I progressed with my squats using that particular pain relief form. Okay, so yeah, my other done. But who is it? So I'm gonna back up here. Of course, you're not gonna be able to see a full me, but you can see enough to know that I'm squatting, baby. And here we go. 12, 16, 20, 23, 25. Y'all see that? $1.25, like it ain't nothing. Tanisha, shut up. She coming from lower. I squatted. Give me that. That was 25. Good morning, y'all. I see my besties in the chat. Let me catch the breath now. Whew. Okay. So I've done my show and tell. And now I lost my train of thought. Okay. So that comes from me using the hemp oil on a daily basis. Okay, Demetria. Okay, so let me say good morning to some folks. Good morning, Steph Johnson. Good time, click bestie. Steph says, Steph says, hey, hey, hey. We got Tanisha, other good times bestie who said, get lower. That's as low as I could go today. And we got my girl, my UAB buddy, Vanessa Fisher. She said, you go, girl. And yeah, see, Tanisha, that's how you encourage somebody. You had about to go lower. Then we got Demetria lit all day. I am a member of Demetria's channel. She is very much a fun person to watch and listen to. She's gonna be cutting up, but it's gonna be funny cutting up. So y'all, if you get a chance, check Demetria out. And she says, how like and share. I appreciate you. Okay, now that I'm inhaling and exhaling, what am I gonna talk about? Okay, so y'all, I'm scared this morning. I'm gonna tell y'all how frustrating it is when you're not only overweight, but you got factors playing against it. So major factor is I'm fat. I'm a chunky girl. That's the problem in itself. On top of that, I have the CHF, which makes me limit how much stress I can put on my heart, so I can work out. But I have to listen to my body to tell me when to slow it down or whatever. And then the other thing is my thyroid. If any of y'all are familiar with thyroid issues, and Tanisha, I know you are, it is a pain in the ass. Now, usually with thyroid is just a gland that you have up in your neck, and it regulates certain hormones. So one of the biggest things it regulates is body temperature. So when you don't have a thyroid, which I don't, if you don't get your medication calibrated right and you go and you're under or hypothyroid, you're gonna be sweating like a hog all the time. It gets so bad, you might be sweating just because you're thinking about how hot it is outside. You ain't went out there yet. Sweat dripping. So it regulates that. It regulates your mood. It regulates what else, Tanisha? Tanisha is the thyroidologist, because she puts a whole lot more research in than I do. But it makes your body feel very tired and you don't want to move. So I had a thyroid. No, what I had was a goiter. A goiter is a growth. It grows on your thyroid gland, and it grows so big they can start protruding from your neck. Well, my thing was, all my life I've been heavy, so I ain't really had no neck. You know, on my heavier days, you can't even see no neck. So how you gonna spot a goiter if you can't see it? So when I would go to the doctor, they would always ask me, "Are you swallowing okay?" and blah blah blah. And they would run my thyroid labs. The two they usually run is called TSH and TS4, I think. And the results always came back that I was fine. So then, like I was telling y'all Tuesday, I had to gastric bypass surgery. I lost all the weight. And Then I do start noticing something down here. But in my mind, okay, Tanisha says some of the other symptoms that you have with thyroid dysfunction: fatigue, joint pain, heart palpitation, and digestive issues. So me and her both get to crying to each other about the thyroid thing off and on. And I just tell you, Tanisha blame everything on thyroid. That's her go-to. It's the thyroid. But yeah. So when I lost the weight, of course you're gonna have some extra skin things. I had never seen me at that size before to know what it should feel like. What my regular neck without me being big should feel like. So the thing, I saw it, but I'm like, they just keep. So, and I'm gonna pull up a picture just so y'all can see see me before to get an idea of what it looked like. Let's see here. These are pictures from, I think these from like 2007, 2008. Okay, here you go. Now y'all see all of that up under my neck, up under my chin, drooping down. You can see it real good. It looks like an apron on the picture at the top, and you can see that picture at the bottom too. So that is what a goiter can look like. Some of them get bigger, some of them stay smaller, depending on how bad it is. So I really didn't put a lot of stock into it because, like I said, every time they would do the lab results, well, your lab's fine, so okay, whatever. So finally, it got to a point where I was this was in 2012, so I would have been 38 or going on 38, and I would notice that when I lay flat, I was feeling like a choking sensation, and then a lot of times when I would try to swallow, it would get stuck. So I finally went on back to see about it again, and they was like, "Girl, that thing big as a grapefruit." I was like, "What?" And I'm not a good sick person. Don't tell me stuff about being sick because I don't like being sick anyway. But when you tell me something is the size of a grapefruit and my hand ain't even big as a grapefruit, and then they start telling me, well, and if it's depending on how it's grown, it looks like it's grown under your chest plate. In which case we will have to crack your sternum. Hold up. Y'all talking about severing a bone just to put it out? I'm thinking, Lord have mercy. And so I'm like, well, what if I don't get it out? What's my other option? What's my consequence? So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. So scheduled the surgery, and when I was 38 in February, around the time Whitney Houston died, and I'm telling you, I can always relate to this because, honey, like I said, thyroid control hormone. You would have thought me and Whitney Houston was in the womb together. We were some twins. We used to play outside together. We was besties. The way I was hooping and hollering and crying about Whitney Houston. And my mama was there with me, because I had the surgery at the time. Night hadn't even turned 2 yet. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I just gave her she go. She was so young. I'm crying like, honey, sister should have been at my house instead of where she was at. I was the one who needed the comfort. But hormones all over the place because they've taken my thyroid out. So once they take the thyroid out, they have to figure out what dosage to give you. All of that is a combination of your body weight, this, that, and the other. So it's almost like they guessing. They start you on this. They have you come back in 2 to 3 weeks. And then, depending on whether it's better or worse, they'll adjust it. Then they'll adjust it again in another 2 weeks. Then I've been getting adjusted since 2012. So at this point, as I pick the weight back up, and part of the reason I picked the weight back up is because of underactive thyroid. Because if you have hypothyroidism, you tend to gain weight. That's why whenever you go to the doctor, if you're heavy set, one of the things they'll ask you is, do you have any thyroid issues? Because that can be a number one cause for being overweight. So since and if you're hyperthyroid, that means your thyroid is overactive. Those are the people you tend to see that are really thin and their eyes are bulged, like look like they're popping out of their head. That's usually somebody that has hyperthyroidism. So they can medication you to adjust that too. But just because it's me, I couldn't get the one that helped that had you lose the weight. I could have dealt with the Popeyes, if I was gonna be thinner, But no, I had to get the one that make you gain weight. So my weight is up and down. My body temperature is hard to regulate because they never quite hit it on the head on what the dosage should be. And it's so frustrating. And so when I went back, I did my annual visit, my annual, that everybody do once a year. We did that back in November. So of course they checking labs. So they call me all frantic. Oh, your TSH is up to an 11, and that's complete, that's critical, and blah 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 blah. And we need you to I was taking biotin because one of the effects of thyroid is it affects your hair. And that's another reason why y'all see me wear weave. Like I already had very soft hair and it was thin anyway. So, like I was saying, when I had the gastric bypass, my hair broke and thin and I cut it off and I started over. Well, my hair was back on its healthy track. And then after I had the thyroid surgery where they removed it, it's like the whole texture of it changed. And it's always, I don't care how much product or whatever you put on it, it always feels dry to me. And I've never had that issue before. So that was something new for me too, to have to deal with the hair loss. And then so anyway, I was taking vitamin. I was taking a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, which contains biotin. And I was also taking biotin by itself because I'm like, I'm trying to get my hair back, So when they reached out to me about that high TSH, they were like, if you're taking any type of biotin, stop that. I said, the universe just want me to be bald headed. Huh? Anything I try to do to help my hair out, y'all telling me it's killing another part of my body. So I had to cut out my hair vitamins. And I hadn't seen a lot of hair loss since I stopped taking it. I stopped taking it back in December. But it's just like I've always, like I said, I don't do the whole good hair, bad hair. But my hair is very soft. So, soft, like you don't even really have to perm it. You brush it back and tie it down real good. And it look like it's straightened out like you had a perm. But it's never been real long. As long as I get it, maybe right here on the shoulder below the ear. And I was happy with that. But I never really wore my own hair anyway because it was so soft. So now on top of it being soft, it's thin. So that's another thyroid thing. So keep in mind all this stuff I'm telling y'all. And so also you have to be consistent with your medicine. And that was another thing. I'm a procrastinator. So I always wait until I ain't got but 2 pills left in my bottle to reach out and say, I need you to resend my prescription. Well, I use a mail order pharmacy. So you can add about 3-4 days to that on top of the 2-3 days. It's going to take the doctor's office to send it to them. Then you got to wait on the shipping. So I've gone as much as 2 weeks before without the medicine. And mind you, it's still in my system, but it's not in there like it should be for you to miss 2 weeks. So whenever they would have me come in and do labs, because a lot of times if I tell them, I'll be like, I need to give them a prescription. Well, we need to see you anyway to look at your labs. I'm like, this is not the time to do it. I ain't been taking my medicine. I've been out. So if you take it now, you're not going to get a real picture of what my thyroid levels look like. And I'm like, I'm not even a doctor. And that's common sense. Waiting, I'll be like, let me take it for a month consistently and then let me come back and do the lab. So anyway, this last time, like I said, it was in the TSH or whatever was 11, and they were freaking out. And of course, I done went online to look up and see blah blah what yada yada. So they said, once you come back in a month without you taking the biotin and with you consistently taking your medicine every day, and we will check your labs again. So I did better than that. I waited 2 months with me taking it every day. So I go back And I go to the portal, look online for my results, and it's not 11, it's 8 now. But the upper side of high, the high range is like 5. So I'm like, it's down from 11, but it's still 8. So I'm expecting them to say, well, we're gonna bring you in and we're gonna make some adjustments to your medication and blah 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 blah. And they told me, well, okay, it's an 8, but your other lab look okay, so we're gonna leave it alone. Y'all done had me all up in an uproar thinking because of that 11 on that lab result that some major was gonna happen, and you had me stop taking stuff, and it didn't go down for 3 points, and now we all good, everything Gucci. I'm just like, that don't make no sense to me. Either the 11 wasn't all y'all was making it out to be, or the 8 is still something, but y'all don't want to change those yet. I don't know what it is. All I know is while y'all around there playing, uh, uh, doing paper rock scissors to decide what y'all gonna do with my medicine, I'm over here sweating, having to order new wig, and ain't having no luck getting this darn weight off. Cause thyroid, and then of course with the heart failure. So I'm gonna give y'all an example of what I go through. Monday, when I got on the scale, Monday. I missed my medicine on Saturday because, like I told you, the medicine makes me go to the bathroom like every 5 minutes to pee. So if I know I'm gonna be out, a lot of times I won't take it because it's a waste of time to go out. So, and then I'm a germaphobe, so I never use public restrooms, not at all. So, I didn't take it Saturday. So Sunday, I did take it, but when I got on the scale Sunday, my weight was up. So I get on the scale Monday morning, it was down. No, I got on the scale Monday morning. Then when I got back on the scale Monday evening, I was down 5 pounds. Only way you losing 5 pounds that quick, it was all fluid. And the fluid is coming from the heart failure. So then I got on the scale the next day, down 3 more pounds. So I done lost 8 pounds since Sunday. It ain't weight. It's not fat. That's just me lose, that's the water, the fluid. So it gets discouraging because you be like, especially when I'm really let me see. Tanisha says it was my TSH that was 11, and the other one, the T4, was the one they said was okay. Hey Deanna, thanks for coming through, Deanna. I'm taking them through my thyroid life. Let them see how that thyroid thing can kick your ass. So anyway, so yeah, I lost 8 pounds. That ain't no real 8 pounds. That was water. So at the same time, when you really are trying to lose weight, depending on how I've taken my medicine or what's going on with my thyroid, you don't never get a real true weight. Like what I have to go by is if my clothes fit different, or if I'm, feeling like I'm losing inches. But the weight, I could not take my medicine today, get on the scale tomorrow, and be 10 pounds more than I was today. So all of that yo-yo up and down is just mentally exhausting. So yeah, that's that on it. But now I'm gonna say this. That was my thyroid story. And I told y'all what all I had to go through and what I had to go through now. Now we have, on the other hand, my mother, Queen Elsa. Now Queen Elsa ain't really ever had any health problems. When she got in her 60s, I'm gonna say, she started getting, her blood pressure was up a little bit. And they put her on a diuretic. She just takes hydrochlorothiazide, water people. So, and because I deal with the medical field and stuff, I know how they do. I know the game. So she done went to her regular doctor, and he done told her, how he seen something in her throat. I don't know, because my mom ain't got no weight on her. And so if she had something like what I was showing y'all earlier, um, then you would see it a mile away. So she goes to the doctor and tells me she got to go see the general surgeon. I said, what you going to see a surgeon for? What's going on with you? Well, my doctor said I got a growth in my neck and they need to take it out. And I'm like, come here, let me see. I'm looking all upside her head, then leaned her head backwards, then stood under and looked up. Ain't nothing wrong with your neck. Them folks just trying to get you to spend some money. So she was like, well, they had me to go over there and they want to do a biopsy. I said, okay, that's fair. If he think you need a biopsy, let's do a biopsy. So they did the biopsy. It came back cold, meaning no signs of malignancy. I never had any signs of malignancy. Mine was just big. That's the only reason they took it out, because it was big. Oh, and they didn't have to crack my sternum. He said he was able to reach down like you trying to grab something and slide and pull it up out of my neck and then cut it off. Ain't that some myth? But anyway, but I never had any, and we don't have a family history of thyroid cancer. So that's something, keep that in mind, you know, when you got folks, older people that are going to the doctor, and because when I'm just gonna say it, sometimes when all the black people see a white man with a doctor's coat on, they're gonna believe every word that come out of his mouth. He's speaking the gospel truth. And what they don't tell you on a lot of stuff is they do a lot of things to rule things out. So if you just trying to say you're gonna check this off the list that it's not this, and we pretty much know it's not this, because if you know your family history and you know your body, you kind of can tell we need to be concerned and we ain't not to. So anyway, she got now mind you, these first two visits, she went by herself. So she went, biopsy came back negative, and then she had to go back and follow up. She go back to follow up, and they told her she need to have it removed. I'm like, why? I said, Mom, I had a daughter for 38 years. The only reason I took it out was because it was obstructing my breathing. It had gotten that big. You didn't even know you had one. You can't even see nothing. So I said, are you having any problems breathing? My mom was like, if that's what she need to say, she gonna say, yeah, sometimes I do get a little, feel like I can't catch my breath. I said, well, do you have any difficulty swallowing? Yeah, because sometimes I feel like the food gets stuck. My mama can eat like a horse. Now she ain't gonna gain a pound, but she can swallow a bowl of turnip greens and cornbread in 2.2 seconds. I don't even know if she chew. Turnip greens is her favorite food. So, honey, and I'm looking at her like, I've only known you my whole life. So I said, look, before you go in here and get signed up to go under the knife, make another appointment with the doctor, the general surgeon. The general surgeon now, mind you, he is not an endocrinologist. When you have thyroid or issues with diabetes or anything dealing with stuff like that, you go to an endocrinologist. So they didn't send her to an endocrinologist. Her family doctor sent her directly to a surgeon. So what you think he gonna do? He gonna tell you need surgery. He gonna tell you need surgery. So she took me with her. So we went in there, and I wasn't saying nothing at first. I was just kind of listening, and and he was he walked in the room. Miss King, you ready for surgery? Yeah, but my daughter had some questions that she wanted to kind of ask you. I said, so I'm like, well, what is it that made you decide? What was the deciding factor that you think she needs surgery? Yeah, Vanessa, you have to protect them from, and especially if you got a mama like mine. She'll never be sick. And I ain't trying to say she attention seeking, but she she used to see it about everybody else. I guess this was her turn for folks to be, fawning all over her, but she don't never she's always been healthy. So we've never had to do that with her. So he's like, yeah, she's got this she's got this growth. I don't know if she told you about it in her throat. And we call it a goiter. And it needs to come out because she's having problems with breathing and she can't swallow and da da da. I said, but is it? It's not to the point that she needs surgery today. I mean, it can't be. She functioning, you know. And so he's like, well, sometimes we like to get these things because they can turn into cancer. I said, did y'all not already do a biopsy? And he was like, yeah, but the thing about biopsies, they don't give you the whole picture. So at this point, I'm looking at him like, man, please don't try to slip a can of oil. Please don't do that to me. You telling me that the biopsy don't give you a picture of what's going on. Well, what's the purpose of doing the biopsy? You might as well just went on and took it out blind without testing it at all. I said, look, she does not have a family history of thyroid cancer. We can barely even find this goiter you saying that she had. And I said, I personally have had to have my thyroid removed. So I know all the signs and the symptoms. And regardless of what she's telling you, I ain't seen her choke on nothing. I said, I think based on what y'all saying, telling her the possibility of cancer, and they know cancer is that word that scares people to death. And she want to hop up and get it done. And what I'm trying to explain to her is, because she get mad at me, because I don't want her to have the same. I'm like, Mama, think about it. You don't even like taking the one pill, water pill you got every day. You gonna fool around and do this, and they're gonna take your thyroid out. You are gonna have to take this medicine every day for the rest of your life. You can't say, because sometimes I ask you, you took your blood pressure medicine? Oh, I ain't picked it up yet. It's still down at the pharmacy. It's been down there for a week. Or, oh, I forgot about it. I said, you can't do that with thyroid stuff. What I'm telling you is if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. This is something, yeah, Tanisha, he really said it. He told her that the biopsy doesn't show you everything. It's only a portion. So I'm like, well, it showed you enough to know that there is no cancer there. I mean, I can see if you had some, like you just said cold or hot. You didn't even have something medium, just lukewarm. The thing was cold. And so I told him, I said, she gonna come in here, you gonna do this surgery. She gonna go home. You might follow up with her one time, and that's the end of your relationship. I am the one who is gonna have to argue with her about did she take her medicine, tell her why she can't wait till the last minute, deal with her talking about this, that, and the other. Then when the hair loss, y'all talk people into doing that stuff, but then you don't think about what's gonna happen when they go home. And see, all she looking at is you saying this need to come out. She ain't even looking at the big picture of now you are going to be missing a vital organ in your body that has to be supplemented. If you don't supplement it, you fool around and be dead. Now, right now, you don't have to take nothing. Your throat ain't getting food, ain't getting stuck. Quit telling that tale. And you don't even have so much of a sore throat. I said, now, do you really think, as your daughter, I would not let you get something done that was going to save your life? I mean, come on now, it's me. And I said, plus, you was there with me through all of my thyroid stuff. You know what was going on with that. You ain't having nowhere near. I told her, I said, look, we can schedule an appointment to follow up if y'all want to and keep an eye on it. But I said, I personally don't feel like she needs thyroid surgery. Especially if they did her lab, she's functioning fine. Because I was like, why didn't y'all send it to an endocrinologist? He said, well, we didn't send it to an endocrinologist because she doesn't have an endocrinology issue. She doesn't have hypothyroid. Okay, so nothing's wrong with her thyroid. Y'all want to take this out just based on the fact that y'all dug down until y'all found some little spot in her neck that is not really bothering her. And you going to let her have surgery for this. It's all a money game. It's a money game. So I told her when we got in the car, because we were supposed to stop. She told me something, because she had scheduled this surgery for the next day. And so she said, we need to stop and get a COVID test because they said I got to have a COVID test for surgery. I told her, I said, you're going to need it. She just didn't know. I had already decided you not gonna have no surgery tomorrow because ain't nothing wrong with you. So you do not need that. So when we left out of the doctor's office, I'm like, look, you can be mad if you want to, but I have gone through it. I know what it's like. I read these charts every day where people are dealing with thyroid issues. Um, I know it from both sides, the before and the after. This is not something that you have to have. And I say you get it and you fool around and don't take your medicine, and you're gonna end up messing up some other body system, and now you gotta take medicine for that. Or your liver failing, or your kidneys, I'm like, if you were the type of person that would do right, even if she would do right, I wouldn't support what they were trying to do at this time because it was not necessary. But know that I would never discourage her from doing something just because I'm not trying to make it seem like it's going to be an inconvenience for everybody else. But I know my mom. I know her, and when she's sick for real, I'm the first one. And now get this, I work in the medical field, so to speak, because I review charts and diagnoses and signs and symptoms and surgeries all day long. My dad has his doctorate in nursing. Dr. King has been a nurse since the 70s. Not only was he an active nurse, he started teaching nursing as an instructor at a college nearby. Mama would take advice from a child in the street before she'll listen to either one of us about some health stuff. I don't know why. My mama like she don't care who certified us to do what, when, and well. She don't believe that we be saying. She always wants second opinion. And I'm just like, okay. Like, why would you think your husband or your child will lead you around and down the wrong road? We looking out for you. But honey, she be second guessing us. We'll be knowing what we talk about. So it made me think about when my daughter was 8, she hurt herself at school. And let me tell you this. When the school call you, and the first thing they say out of their mouth after hi, Miss King is, now everything's fine. You know something wrong. You don't start no sentence off with it, and there's something wrong. So they didn't call me. Everything's fine. Now had a little accident out on the playground, and she scraped her forehead. I was like, okay. And she said we were trying to decide whether to call the ambulance. Ambulance? Ambulance? Hey, Marlene. Good to see you. That's Life with Marlene. Y'all check her out. She has some great lives, some very motivational stuff. And she did a love shout out to all of her members. I'm a member of her channel. She did that on yesterday, and it was absolutely great. So check out Life with Marlene or Marlene Motivates. Both of those are good channels for uplifting. You can do it. That type of feel when you need some positivity in your life. But yeah, so they didn't call me, and when they said ambulance, at that point I already knew, this ain't no little scratch. So she talking to me. I'm on my cell phone, and she was like, "So, do you want us to call it?" I said, "Baby, I'm about a block from the school." She didn't realize I had left the house and was in the car driving. So I get up to the school and walk into the nurse's office, and here's my child sitting here with blood all over her shirt, all over her jeans, and they got a big wad of homemade bandage strip that I could barely even see her eyes. And I'm like, this what y'all call a scratch? This what y'all call she just had a scratch? It's a chunk out of her face. It literally, it was like, it was a plug that came out right here. So I took her to the emergency room. And of course, she was scared to death because she's never had to go to the emergency room before. And then she was feeling self-conscious. And she ended up having to get, like, I want to say either 9 or 12 stitches for that. And the funny part was, she went through all that. They told us to bring her back in like a certain amount of time. And they were going to take the stitches out. So, Lord, I'm thinking, shit, I got my dad. We ain't doing that. Cause he a nurse and he know what he doing. So we gonna go over there. So I told Naya, I said, we gonna go over to Poppy and let him take your stitches out for you. And when we were at the house, he was telling her, how he was gonna do it. And my baby looks up at my dad and says, Poppy, I know you're a nurse and everything, and I just feel like we better let the professional people do this. I was so cheap. I was cheap, but I was laughing at the same time. I was like, I told my dad, I said, you thought you was something special with all that master's, doctorate degree, and nursing background. My 8-year-old said, you ain't qualified to take no stitches out of her face. We going to the emergency room. And see, I was trying to avoid that bill. But yeah, we hey Tony. Yeah, Tony. Nanku said, now you might be and did a lot, but you ain't ready to take no stitches out of my face. We gonna let the professionals do that. So we went on over to the emergency room and they took them out. So and my dad's feelings wasn't hurt or nothing because he loved his baby doll. That's what he called her, his baby doll. And he was like, it's okay if she don't feel comfortable, let him do that. Let that have been us. Let me tell y'all something. The King children, and it's 4 of us. The King children ain't seen the inside of no doctor's office or hospital since they got that slap on the button getting home in the car with the car seat. When your parents, and Stephanie can speak to this because her mom is a nurse too. When your parent is a nurse, they don't nothing warrant you going to no doctor. Whatever it is, they can fix it. So I'm thinking, oh, so if she wanna go, she can go. And I'm telling you how bad my dad was. He had me thinking when we was younger that okay, Marlene, your mom was a nurse, so you feel me too. When we was little, he had me thinking health insurance was like car insurance. Every time you file a claim, your rate go up. Because he used to tell me, we ain't gonna be running back and forth to no doctor's office, making my insurance go up. And I'm like, oh, that's how it works. So once I got to be 18 and going on my own, well, that's when I figured out this man had lied to us our whole life. That ain't how health insurance works. But I don't care what was wrong with you. He had that one white pill, and I'm pretty sure it was an off-brand Tylenol that he gave us no matter what was going on. He tell you to take one of them and go lay down. My brother had asthma. I thought he was finna die. He didn't take him to the hospital either. He was like, he gave him something and told him to drink something and it'll be all right. And I tell him this now because when I was little, I used to be like, oh, I wish I could die just so he could see how serious it was. He don't never take nothing serious. He think he know everything. So I'm wanting to die to prove a point so he can feel bad. But he was right. And even when I tell him that, he'd be like, you lived, didn't you? You still here. He was like, I was running back and forth to them doctors and they ain't doing nothing. So, I and since being in the profession, I've learned a lot of that stuff is unnecessary. So, and my mom is still a go to the doctor you to deal. Not me. Now, if I know what it is, like I was saying in a live before, I know this time of year, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna get a sinus infection. So, since I have a good rapport with my doctor, when I start feeling the sinus infection symptoms, I can call her or go to the portal and ask her to call me in a Z-Pack or, some type of antibiotic. And I know what to look for when your snot and stuff start turning brown and greenish looking. But, as long as it's clear. I mean, it's like a cold. You can't cure a cold. So what you going to run to the doctor for? So I'm very few in between about that. I would take Naya because she's gotten, she had sinus issues too, and she had tubes in her ears. So she was bad about catching ear infections. So that's pretty much the only thing I've ever had to do with her. But honey, my dad, you ain't going to no doctor. I remember, and this is no lie, y'all. This is gonna be my last story. This is no lie. Me and my one of my best friends. At the time, I had already graduated, so I was like 19, and she was a senior in high school, so she was 17. And her grandparents then bought her a car. It was not a brand new car, but they got her a car. She didn't. This is her first car. So we riding from home, Cortland, going to Decatur, about a 20-minute drive, because she wanted to get out and drive, and because she got the car. And I told her, I said, yeah, I'll ride with you. So we get in there, everything going good. And I looked down at the clock, and I was like, your clock is off time. Let me set your clock. So I started this new clock, and she like, no, I think you got to hit this button right here. I said, don't worry about the clock. You watch the road. So um, I'm still feeling with it, and she just couldn't leave it alone. Honey, next thing I know, that car had swerved. We had hit what felt like a ditch. The car flipped over into a cotton field, because this is Alabama. So we flipped over into a cotton field, and the car landed, bottom up. And I have always been taught, from my uncle, if you're ever in an accident and you smell gas, get out of the car, because it could be about to blow up. So in my mind, it might have been smelling like marshmallows out there. In my mind, I smelled some gas. I'm like, I smell gas. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. And I'm trying to figure out how to open the door. And you know how it is with a car you're not familiar with. Sometimes you might not know what the door or the thing to roll the window down is. So I'm trying to figure out, and I'm gonna get bad and try to kick my way out of the car. But anyway, I finally got out of the car. She got out of the car. Me and her right up to it. It's so dramatic. Dramatic. We didn't got together running up the road, because we just knowing in the next 5 seconds, like a scene from one of them action movies, the car gonna blow up in the background. Car ain't blow up. I ain't smell gas again. So we out there on Highway 20. The car over there in the cotton field. And we trying to figure out, and on Highway 20 there is nothing. It's just Highway 20. We were almost to the belt line where you get off and you start seeing the shops and stuff and hospital stuff. So it just so happened, this is one of the good things about being from a small area. Somebody came through that seen us out, and it was dark. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock. And we out there walking up the highway. You don't see that. Don't nobody be walking up the highway. So somebody coming through pulled over. And it just so happened to be the lady who does my mom's hair. It was her husband. And he asked us if we were okay. And I was like, nah. And we showed him the car. And he was like, well, come on, I'll take you to the emergency room. I said, yeah, take me to Parkway. My dad is working over there tonight. Because dad used to do 7 to 7. And he was working in the emergency room that night. Man, it's going to sound crazy, but I was excited because I was finally going to get a chance to see what it looked like on the inside. I didn't went with people and had to stay out, but I wanted to see what go on behind the scenes. But guess what? I wasn't going to find out that night either. My dad was like, ain't nothing wrong with you. Now, Stephanie, who was riding with me, she broke her finger. So they had to do surgery or do something with it. But, our clothes all dusty where we didn't crawl out the car, and I tore my top and just looking like a mess. Got, glass from everything. So I'm just knowing he's gonna let me go get checked out because I can have a concussion. My dad said, no, he wasn't working 7 to 7 in the morning. He had been in at 7 and he was gonna get off. He was like, don't sit there in the lobby. You can ride home with me. We'll let your mama pick that glass out your forehead when we get home. I'm just like, really? I still can't go in the emergency. Well, I could die. He was like, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. He said, I ain't gonna have that high emergency room bill, and they ain't gonna do nothing but tell you to take some Tylenol, and they gonna want to do a head scan, and ain't nothing wrong with you. So, in the end, he was right. He was right. Oh, hey, the hood table. Y'all check out the hood table. We celebrated her reaching her 5K. a couple of Fridays ago. If y'all want to join in for Friday Night Live, they talk about everything from the hood table to the White House. So, and she also had very good tips for you if you're trying to get your channel going. So thanks for coming through the hood table. But yeah, honey, we ain't with nobody, doctor. Dad checked us out, told us we was fine. His cure, and to this day, I do not like Jello, and I do not like Gatorade. Because anytime you see, you're gonna get some Jello and some Gatorade. Oh, and chicken soup. I associate all of that with being sick mentally. So if you offer me some Jello, I'm like, Gatorade, ain't nothing wrong with me. I don't want no Gatorade. But that was the thing. He would tell my mama that because we didn't never miss no school for real, for real. We had to be like on death doorstep for you to miss school. If this was my mama's trick, and I know Stephanie said that was her mama did too. You wake up, you tell her you don't feel good. Mama say, well, go on to school. If you ain't feeling better by 12 o'clock, I come and get you. You call home at 12 o'clock. You ain't got for 3 more hours. You made this far, you might as well go to stay. You ain't get checked out. I think I got checked out one time. That was in the first grade, and it was because my dad's older brother, my uncle, had passed away. And they checked me out that day. But other than that, you ain't getting checked out for nothing. You ain't missing no schools for nothing. If you do miss school, you better be letting there like they don't know they might need to call somebody in to do last rites because she ain't gonna make it. That's how bad it had to be. Let me see. Y'all gonna learn today, literally. Exactly. Vanessa says that's the way it was with our family. My Auntie Leola, when my auntie was a nurse, so she was like doctor for everybody. Exactly. And he's still like that. So that's why when something going, he like my litmus test. If I'm really trying to figure out whether Stephanie said preachers kids and nurses kids. I ain't got no preacher dad and mama, but I sure got a nurse dad and mama, and they don't believe Grease breathing, and they gonna argue you down. And if you don't go on and die in front of them and show them you really sick, they still ain't gonna believe. But I'll call him. He'll be my litmus test as to. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Aunt Leola. It was Aunt Mary Lou. I knew it was one of them. You know, I always remember my story, Vanessa. But yeah, I use him as my litmus test. Like if it like when night fever get real high or whatever, because if I call him and he said go and take him, I know it's serious. If he be like just get a cold cloth, put it on the stomach, put it on the forehead, give it that Tylenol, blah 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 blah. Because I'm a firm believer now that I'm grown, it's too much to go through if you already know what they're gonna do. If you go to the emergency room for pain, they think everybody who come in for pain is drug seeker. You can't literally have no pain. So it'd be a waste of time because I think when I was having a problem with it was my jaw. It wasn't like, well, it turned out to be the tooth, but it was really the pain in my jaw. And it was really, really bad. So I done went to the emergency room during COVID. And so I already had to sit out there for hours and hours and hours, only for them to get back there and tell me they did an x-ray of my face and then told me, he's gonna try to tell me he thought I had a neck strain. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, this bone right here hurt. What they got to do with my neck? It's this. So he didn't want to give me a prescription for anything strong. So he told me to take a couple of Tylenol and come back if I have any more problems. $1,300 emergency room bill for that. So if I already know what you're gonna do, I don't waste my time. It gotta be somewhere I think it's gonna be some measures taken that I can't do at home. So I guess I as much as I clown my dad, I guess I'm kind of like him because I ain't running to the doctor every 5 minutes for no little bitty stuff. It ain't worth the wait, the inconvenience, the fact that they ain't gonna do nothing, or none of it, or the cost. Because like with my insurance, I have a high deductible, so until I reach a certain amount, Okay, I all that stuff out of pocket. So I'm extremely careful. Let me see. Tanisha said, if you had a stomach ache, my mom would give you a stick of gum and tell you to drink some water. I still don't get that one, Tanisha. The spearmint and the water react and cure the stomach. Is that what that is? Okay, the human trainer said I'm not going home for 2 weeks for a 1,300 ER bill. Right, right. $1,300. That's exactly what it was, and they didn't do nothing. They took that one X-ray, and you know how they always do the EKG and the your vitals and stuff. $1,300. So yeah. So now that I done been on my soapbox and told y'all my pet peeves about healthcare. Thank y'all for joining me today. Thank you for everybody who participated in the chat. We had Steph Johnson, my bestie, you Tanisha, another bestie, Vanessa, my UAB bestie, Demetri Lit All Day, one of my favorite content creators whose team whose membership I have. Who else we got? Deanna Irvin got her membership. She another one of my faves. Love me some Deanna. Life with Marlene got her membership. Love me some Marlene. And who else is on here? I said Vanessa already. Tony, my ace bone coon when it comes to my econ. Tony, I know you say you're driving. Are we going live tonight? Just telepathically send me a yes or a no, and we'll go from there. But yeah, thank you for everybody that tuned in. We're coming up on an hour, so I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Let me see what we're gonna say. I always enjoy the story. Reminds us of the days at UAB with Johnny. Yes, I told y'all my friendships run in threes. It'd be me, Vanessa, and her name was Jonathan, but I nicknamed her Johnny May because she said they wanted her to be named after her dad. I said, so you almost went through life being named Johnny May. But anyway, we would get together, and that's why I work from the office now, because I spend more time chit-chatting and telling stories like this than I did in that office doing what I supposed to do. But I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a great evening. Thanks for tuning in. Thumbs up the video if you didn't get a chance to. And you got a friend named Johnny May. Woo, Lord. I think she looked out with Johnny May because Johnny May wasn't gonna work, but it don't matter. I call her Johnny May. She even saved in my phone as Johnny May. She should have never told me this one. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys tomorrow.